Welcome, welcome.
Hello.
Hi, my name is Deborah Razzo, and I'm the founder of the Women's Real Estate Network. And first of all, I just want to thank you for your time and encourage you to put your chat up because we need to get our chat on, guys. And you know what? I'm also going to encourage you to put your video on. I don't care what you look like. It's just a bunch of us girls here. So put your video on, engage with us. Nice to see you, Kathleen from Buena Park. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Lily from Seattle. Hi, Lily. Nice to see you. So I want to make sure that we can get connected, and that's why I'm asking you to put your chat up. That's why I'm asking you to put your camera on.
Thank you.
Hi, Mercedes. I'm going to mute you right now. Kathy Knight, I saw that you. Jennifer, hi, Jennifer O'Neill from Van Nuys. Carolyn from Irvine. Kathy Knight from Beverly Hills. Hi, guys. Nice to see you. Bring your chat up. Let us know what your name is and where you're from. The other thing that I'm going to encourage you to do is either have a pen and paper ready or have something to write on, like another, something in on your computer to take notes. Here's the thing. You never know when somebody's going to say something that's going to spark that great idea. And I want you to have a way to capture it. So, please, capture whatever ideas come your way, and we will be getting started really shortly. It looks like we've got Sarah from Phoenix and Renata from Irvine. Hi, welcome, welcome. Elsie from Paradise Estate Properties. I'm not quite sure what city you're in, Elsie, but you're working in California. Good to know. Hello, and welcome. Jolene from San Diego. I see she just popped in. And Mercedes, we've got Mercedes from Las Vegas. Hi, lady. Nice to see you here. Stacy from Pasadena. It's great to see you guys. I'm going to share my screen for a minute. Welcome, welcome to the Power Hour. So we call it the Power Hour because we're just going to take an hour of your time. We're going to share a little bit of real estate knowledge with you guys. We're going to let you guys know a little bit more about what WREN is all about. WREN, the Women's Real Estate Network. So we're an organization that started just about 4 years ago, exclusively for women real estate investors. And we've got all kinds of women real estate investors. We have flippers, we have buy and hold, we have multi-unit, we have note holders, we have storage units, we have developers, we have all kinds of women real estate investors. It's a great place to meet other women that have a like-minded, like-minded subject, right? So I'm just going to encourage you. Nika's here from LA. Catherine Knight, she's here from Los Angeles too. I'm going to encourage you to put your name and where you're from in the chat so that we can get to know each other a little bit. And like I said, I want to encourage you to get a piece of paper out so that you can capture any great ideas you have. That being said, I also want to let you know that all the ideas discussed today aren't for everyone, that you make sure that you check with your attorney, check with your financial professionals before embarking on any investment opportunities. We want our women safe out there, so make sure that you do that. And this is a little bit of information about WREN. This Power Hour is especially for people who maybe you haven't experienced the WREN community yet. And if you haven't experienced the WREN community yet, boy, are you missing out. It's a bunch of vibrant women who are not only focused on real estate, but focused on helping each other, right? Helping each other get further, helping each other, gain resources. How many of us, I'd like a show of hands or say yes in the chat, have ever called a girlfriend because you needed a referral? Whether it's, a babysitter, whether it's a cleaning lady, whether it's a foundation guy. So that's what us women do, right? We share with each other. And this is our mission. Our mission is to create a community where women in real estate will excel and empower each other, where we share resources, experience, and tools to help each other grow both personally and professionally. And we have fun while we're doing it. To be honest with you, when we were meeting in person, there was usually wine involved. I'll just be really straightforward. And so, and why do we say both grow personally and professionally? I'm going to tell you why. We all have dreams in real estate, and to achieve those dreams, we're obviously going to have to grow professionally. But what I think we don't realize is how much we have to grow personally, and what kind of person is going to take to achieve those dreams. And that's what we're here to support each other with, right? How we grow personally, how we grow professionally, and how we march forward in our dreams. We're founded on 4 pillars. And as you can see, we're kind of obsessed with our little bird, WREN. And our 4 pillars are our NEST, N-E-S-T, and they stand for networking. That's our primary objective. Networking, it's where we can create a community of women real estate investors. We have networking both on meetings, and we also have, if you're a WREN member, we have a WREN membership site that has all kinds of portals for all kinds of different networking. We also are strong in education. We have women who come to our meetings that are working professionals in real estate investing, and they're sharing how they're doing it. And a lot of times, not only are they sharing their business models, but they're sharing how they're balancing life. Who here has a woman has ever had a problem like balancing life? Can I get a yes in the chat? If you've ever had a problem balancing life. I still have problems balancing life, and my kids are grown. I thought that was going to stop by now. Amen. Thank you, Anna. Anyway, so we share education, we share techniques, we share how we're getting through. Skill development, that's our S. Skill development, hands-on training to develop skills that you need as a real estate investor and as a business owner. Right? When we're business owners, we're faced with all kinds of different things, whether it's how to get our accounting in order, or whether it's how to establish some kind of cash goal for ourselves. And then our fourth skill development is transformation. Once again, there's a transformation that goes on as you develop your real estate portfolio. There's a transformation that happens both personally and professionally, and we're all about that. We're all about mentorship. We're all about community opportunities. We're all about giving back, and that's part of that transformation. So that's what the Women's Real Estate Network is all about. I want to start off by sharing. All right, somebody's out there and hasn't muted themselves. If you could just check and mute yourself, that would be great. I want to start off by sharing a quote. And that is, be brave enough to listen to the whisper of your own soul instead of the roar of society. And there's a couple reasons that I picked this quote today. One is that I think it's really important for us to face it. The women on this call, you guys aren't your typical women. You're desiring something, and you have set your sights on real estate as being able to be the vehicle to achieve them. And if you look around in real estate, it's a male-dominated industry. So I want to just say to you, first of all, thank you for listening to that whisper in your soul that knows that real estate can be your vehicle for achieving financial independence or whatever real estate means for you. In fact, bring up your chat. What does real estate mean to you? Is it financial independence? For me, it's some freedoms. I like time freedoms. I want to be able to travel the world. Yes, time freedoms, me too. I want to be able to do things, for my kids. I want to be able to do things with my kids. I want to bring them with me. Right? Location and time freedoms, like energy, right? How many times are we drained? And doesn't like some financial security give us that energy that we need to go through things? Generational wealth. I love that. Thank you. Having more choices, Jennifer O'Neill. Yes, having more choices. Being able to have the freedom to grow. Yeah, that's what this is all about. So I want to commend you for being brave enough to listen to the whisper of your soul instead of the roar of society and being here and being on this adventure together. And I want to share something with you too. I've recently listened to the whisper of my soul. And, you know, we have an annual event that we put on once a year, and it was an event that was going to happen in April, and we got COVID shut down, and we rescheduled it for October. And it's called Ignite Your Fire Within. And, you know, I did some soul searching, and I thought, you know, I don't want to put on a typical real estate conference with speaker after speaker after speaker. I feel like, you know, ladies, we have a lot going on, and to be, you know, engaged like that for 2 days nonstop is a lot. And I thought I wanted to do something different. And in fact, I shared this with the other chapter leaders. I don't know if, you know, Mercedes is on the call. She's one of our chapter leaders. I shared this with the other chapter leaders, and one of the chapter leaders said jokingly, I don't even want to be on this call. And we all just started laughing, right? Because it's just the truth. It's just the honest. And we decided to change things up for our Ignite conference and call it Ignite the Unconference. Why are we doing that? What is an unconference? An unconference is not going to be the traditional real estate conference. We want to meet women where they're at. So we're first going to start off with some meditation and some movement. We've changed up our speakers, and we're bringing in speakers that are going to talk to us about balance, talk to us about taking time out to fill our soul, talk to us about getting grounded, because it's when we're grounded in our businesses that we can really move forward, right? Then we start to think about our businesses and what we can do there, right? So we're going to spend some time, you know, dealing with what's up here, dealing with what's going on. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but I've been experiencing a roller coaster of emotions in the last 6 months. And I want to, like, let's not avoid the elephant in the center, in the middle of the room. Let's talk about it and figure out strategies, ways to go through this and go through it together. And then we want to have a little fun. You know, in person, we were going to have a Saturday evening cocktail networking party. And instead of that, we're going to have a Saturday night pajama networking party. You know, we're just going to have some fun, and we're going to bring in speakers like that. So I wanted to mention that to you because it's something my soul was whispering. And I thought, you know what, we're going to do that. So we're going to present Ignite the Unconference. And I just want to welcome you guys again to coming here. I just want to take 1 second. I think we have Mercedes on the line. Mercedes, are you there? We have some pretty exciting stuff happening, and Mercedes is our new chapter leader from Las Vegas. Mercedes, why don't you unmute yourself and tell them a little bit about what's going on next week?
I am here, ladies, and it is really loud. Talking about balance, I am balancing an amazing power hour while my son is in hockey. Let me just view the view. He's on the hockey field, okay? So there you go. I wanted to share that with you because we're all about sharing and growing and networking. And let's face it, ladies, we are all here. We are all moms, busy professionals, wives, girlfriends, spouses, etc., and we don't have time to do anything, so we multitask. And so because I don't have enough on my plate, I decided to become the chapter leader of WREN in Las Vegas because there are 300 and some odd women in our group, and there was nobody leading the troop. So I decided to go under the wing of Deborah, and our first chapter meeting is on Wednesday the 23rd at 6 p.m. Of course, we're calling it a wine and cheese event because in Las Vegas, we're open and we can actually have events. So up to 50 people. And we are really excited because Deborah's going to join us for our first meeting. So if you have lady friends in the Las Vegas area, I am more than happy to host them at our first meeting this coming Wednesday the 23rd at 6 p.m.
Nice. Thank you so much. Okay, so if you are on this call and maybe you're not from Las Vegas, but you have a good girlfriend in Las Vegas, reach out to them, tell them about us, and I am going to search for the link, and I will put the link in the chat so that you guys can know how to access that. And, you know, Mercedes is very gracious. Mercedes is in no way under my wing. I'm going to just tell you that. The girl, hands down, I got so much respect for her. I don't know how many doors she has. She started accumulating cash flow properties 10, 11, 12 years ago. I can't remember, Mercedes, yes. And she has many, many, many doors. I aspire to be her. So let me tell you, she is a wealth of information if you ever want to reach out to Mercedes. And speaking of a wealth of information, I'd like to introduce to you our speaker for this evening. She's going to present a case study. Her name is Tamar, and she handles also Wealthy Warriors for Women, right, Tamar? And you can tell them a little bit more about that. I need to unmute you.
Yeah, there we go.
There we go. And
it sounds like someone's still not muted.
Let me stop sharing and let me get everybody muted. And
there we go.
We will unmute you. You're unmuted. Do you need to be co-host so that you can share your screen?
I do.
All right, let me do that as well. There you go. Make you co-host.
Ready?
Okay, thank you. There you go. Are you co-hosting him?
Yep, here we go. Hang on one second. For some reason, it's not showing the screen that I want. 1 second. Let me see what's going on. I just probably have to select it. There we go. I am technically ready, but you have to do things just so to make it work.
I hear you.
Okay, hang on.
Technology.
Hang on 1 second. For some reason, it's not allowing me to do what I need to do. Hang on, let me close this. And it should be here. Let's see.
Oh, you know what? I'll just say a few things while you're getting ready.
Okay.
One of them is that, you know, we have case studies at our Power Hour because we like to showcase things that our members are doing. So, you know, I just want to make sure that you guys understand that we're active investors at all different levels, right? From entry level to intermediate to advanced level. So we come here and we share our projects, we share what's possible with people so that they know. All right, it looks like you're up and going.
I'm up and going. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Yes, I am Tamar Hermes, and my business is called Wealth Warrior Woman. My presentation today and my case study is, I named it Get the Deal Done, How to Borrow Money or Be the Lender, from the viewpoint of the lender, because in this particular scenario, I was the lender. So I'm going to go through the deal that I did, and also share some ideas about what was involved in terms of my decision-making process, so that I can help you all learn about what I go through in terms of borrowing or in terms of greenlighting a project. So, and afterwards we'll have time for Q&A. So just maybe type it in to the chat, or hold your question until after.
Yes, I'm going to watch the chat for you tomorrow.
Perfect.
So just type your questions into the chat and then I'll get them as she breathes.
Okay, great. Okay, and I tend to talk fast. So if I talk too fast, you can also say, slow down, because I want to get it all in the time we have allotted.
Sounds good.
So this is a project that I funded at 717 OLDHAM in Knoxville, Tennessee. It was a flip project. I loaned the money for 6 months. I did zero work. It resulted in 12% annualized overall return, which means that the money was borrowed for 6 months. So I made the portion for the 6 months. I didn't make 12% on the money. It's annualized. So you need to always do your calculations correctly. And I ended up making $9,500 on $157 loan. Okay, who am I? So I just like to share a little bit, just so you know, why am I speaking and why did Deb ask me to participate here tonight to share. I didn't grow up knowing anything about real estate, and I've been investing for 20 years. I created a financially free life, and I have a diverse knowledge of investments and want to support other others, I'm the founder of a company called Wealth Warrior Women. So in addition to being a full-time investor, I work with women to support them so that they too can become financially free. And this is my family and I in Israel, not this year due to COVID, but luckily last year we made it so my son could have his bar mitzvah. So there are many types of real estate investing, and all of these principles that I'm going to share in terms of how I decided to do the deal, how the deal worked, are pretty much, I think the principles can apply to almost any strategy that you're at and anywhere that you're at in your investment. And like I said at the beginning, you can think of this either as the borrower or as someone who might want to lend. So these are what I identify as the elements that you really want to be looking for. Know your objectives, trust your partners, qualify the risks, evaluate how much time you have versus cash on hand, and don't get trapped in a shiny object syndrome. Okay, let's start with know your objectives. So for me, I wanted my money fairly liquid. So I wanted to do a deal where I could make some money on my cash, but get out of the deal in case I wanted to do something else with it. So this deal, this flip was 6 months. They usually will, when you loan money on a flip, it's generally for a year's time. But there's many variations of it, but oftentimes they'll gap it for a year just so if you do it for 4 months and then it ends up being 6 months, I don't call my loan due and then you have to pay me and find another loan. So, but you can usually figure that it's going to end up anywhere from like 3 to 6 months. So I didn't have a lot of time, so I didn't want to be involved in the deal. And I wanted to earn substantially more than sitting in the bank, which is currently what, 0.00002%. And I had the potential for earning 15% back on the back end. So I actually had a piece of this deal, of this flip. So I actually was not only getting 12%, but I had some money on the back end. All my deals are structured differently. This is how this one shook down. I don't know why my picture's not up here, but this was a picture of the house, but we'll go through pictures after. Okay, so when this investor approached me, he had a clear proposal and showed me the numbers and the timeline and the projections, which is really important as a lender. You want to make sure that people have an idea about what they're doing, that it's not completely speculative, because $157,000 isn't chump change. So we want to make sure that we know what we're getting into. And then I also wanted to know, what his track record was and what level of comfort would I have investing with him. Okay, so he had done several projects. He also had a business background. And this goes right into trusting your partners. So present a clear offer with comps, show a track record for a reason I would trust you with my money. Talk to references. So when someone comes to me with a deal, oftentimes I'll say, well, what deals have you done? Can I talk to people that have loaned you money before? Can I see projects you've done? So that I have some like a resume, if you will, and some positive references. Now, a lot of times with lending, in this scenario, I actually lent 100% of the money. In most cases, most lenders don't do that. I shouldn't say most, but many won't. And the reason is because we want the investor to have skin in the game. So in this market, the thought process right now is really more of a 70-30 split. So in other words, if I were to loan somebody 70% of the money, the investor would come with 30%, so that it's less likely, even if the deal didn't work well, that they would walk away from the deal. Also, some lenders like to get monthly returns. So they like to kind of see progress reports and also get a little piece of their money back, like some interest paid monthly. So again, do your due diligence. I can't say that enough, right? Because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to green light the deal, and it's on you, nobody else. So you can never blame them. They'll give you all the information, and it's up to you to decide whether or not this is a deal you want to do. Which leads me to...
we have a question. We have a
Okay, please.
Do you only do first positions? What are your thoughts on second position? And can you tell us a little more about due diligence?
Yes, okay. When I lend on my own, I only do first positions. I've recently been learning more about second positions. I'm actually investing in a fund right now where they actually do debt collections on second liens, many of which are non-performing. And that's a whole other topic that we need, you know, an expert to come in here and share for the evening. My thought on due diligence is make a list of every single thing that could possibly go wrong, or every single thing you don't understand, and answer those questions, and then answer them again. Because, you know, that's one of it's one of the deals of becoming an investor. You need to be able to assess the information and decide whether or not you're comfortable. And due diligence is just literally, if something's coming up for you and it doesn't look right, or it doesn't feel right, or you don't understand it, or something somebody said didn't make sense to you, ask the questions, make sure you're as thorough as possible. And I'll go a little bit more into the due diligence through this. So qualify the risks. So like I said, this investor had flipped 10 to 15 homes in the exact area and the exact layout, which is very, very specific. And this is the thing, if somebody comes to you and they want to flip one in California and one in Las Vegas, you know, do they have a team in Las Vegas? Do they know how well the deal will go? Do they know the structure? Do they know how the buildings are? A lot of them are built at a certain time and have certain, like where I am in Austin and San Antonio, we have a lot of foundation issues. So a lot of people are very privy to that. They understand how to work with that, the prices, the cost to repair those. All those things really you get when you've done 10 to 15 homes in the exact area with the exact layout, like a single family home, 3-2, not like 1 fourplex, 1 single family. It really starts to help you understand how to comp it. In other words, comping meaning, you know, what will this sell for? What will this flip resale for? And also how to execute. So it's very, very important. You want to make sure they have a team in place. Knoxville traditionally does well in a recession. So that was something that they shared with me, but also that I researched on my own. The investors had a business background, which I mentioned. So it wasn't just that they were flippers, but they also, they're actually a father-son team, and the father had actually run a company and was a CFO. So I knew he understood numbers, which is really important because the numbers can get pretty hairy sometimes. And it's important that you are really keeping track of things and understand all the variables. And I also went to Knoxville to review the area and the jobs and to get to know my partners. So this is all kind of a due diligence list, right?
We have another question. We have another question.
Sure.
How do you feel about first-time flippers?
Okay, so are you asking like how I feel in terms of lending to them, or what do you mean?
Cindy, you want to unmute yourself and ask the question?
Yes, that's exactly what I meant as far as you investing with first-time flippers. Thanks,
Well,
Deb.
generally with a first-time flipper, you know, the risk goes up, right? Because if you haven't done it, you're on a learning curve. It's just, you know, the fact of the matter. And so generally you can, a lender can negotiate better terms, and if they, you know, and if they have a good rapport with someone, then they might do it. I tend to, based on, you know, where I'm at in my life and what I do, meaning that like if I were to lose $50,000 here and there and there and here, at this point, I'm in my 50s. I like my life. I don't want to start doing like anything that feels a little more speculative, but there's a ton of people that lend to first-time flippers. So it's just my personal criteria, but you can find partners, and as long as you're doing all of this, as long as you're presenting a really solid deal, to someone, and you can help them to understand what kind of profit they can make, and maybe go in with a 50-50 split, and maybe give them money on the lending side, 50-50 split on the profit, and then also pay them as a lender. You know, you could probably find people for sure. You can, not even you can probably, you can find people for sure.
One other question, and you might be getting into this. How did you find the investor / deal, or how did they find you?
Yeah, that's, you know, that's a really good question. So I actually met these two guys in a very funny way. I was actually at a networking event, and I can't say enough about like these kind of events and any kind of networking event, you know, where people know that you're an investor. And this guy that wasn't even an investor said, "Oh, you should meet my friend Jim." And he wasn't an investor, and he wasn't the kind of guy that I thought was going to be really savvy to, you know, all things, you know, investing. But I was open. I said, okay, like, I'll meet your friend Jim. And then sure enough, like, Jim called me like 2 weeks later, and then we met and we really hit it off. So it was kind of like just in a roundabout way. I think that the more you do this and the more that you're out meeting people and learning, you know, who's who, and making calls and having conversations, the more opportunities you'll find. Again, you know, as far as passive investing, evaluate how much time you have versus cash, right? Because time is precious, right? And so if I'm out, you know, trying to find the deals all day long, I can't enjoy other things I want to do or help other women the way I want to help them, because I'm busy looking for the deals. So, you know, I have to ask myself, do I want to make 25,000 to 50,000 and flip it, and, you know, deal with all the risk management of the job, which is, you know, basically like I have the crew, I have all the dealings with everything. I mean, the investor is really dealing with everything. I did nothing except for check paperwork and sign documents. So, and, you know, look at before and afters and durings, and touch bases with how the deal was going, but pretty much I did no work. So for me, especially since I had an opportunity on the back end, I was willing to, I prefer to do that in this case. So a note on, and I'll return to this idea, beware of shiny objects and squirrel syndrome. If those of you who have ever had kids with up, you know, there's a squirrel. And my husband always teases me because I'm, I think a lot of women are like prone to squirrel, but I definitely have that. So with $157,000, I have a number of investing options, right? I mean, that's, you know, depends on where I go. I can go to Ohio and do a flip. I can do a buy and hold. I can do, you know, I can lend it. I can do a number of things. So the question is, you know, what's best for you? Was there a question?
No, there was just some static. I'm muting.
Okay, no problem. Okay, so, you know, and what should I do if I, you know, then I, you know, you can get into a lot of questions. So at a certain point, you want to commit to something and, you know, go with it and commit to it. And then if you don't like it, then you can do something else the next time. And if you like it, you do more of it. Okay, do I want to do this deal? It's interesting, this image came up, the other image didn't. Interestingly enough, this is actually a deal that I also funded in Kansas City. I just thought it came out so well. This guy actually has done like 200 flips, all in the same area, all in the same model. And he turned this house around in 6 weeks. It just hit the market. I haven't heard that they've gotten offers yet, but I think it'll go fast. I just think it's adorable. So anyway, I just put that one in there just because I thought it was really cute. I do have before and after pictures of this deal, so I will show you it. Okay, so the proposal on the deal that we came up with was 12% on the entire loan for the duration of the loan, regardless of how long it goes, and 15% return on the back end of the profits net. Okay, so net meaning after we pay all the expenses. So the thing that I love with the loan on the entire amount for 12% is that regardless of what the deal does, regardless if they lose money or whatever it is, I am going to get my 12%. So basically, I'm a lender. I'm like a bank. You know, like if you you know, if you don't pay if you don't pay your mortgage, they take your property away, right? It's the same thing when you have the note, they owe you the money. So, so basically, in that regard, it's kind of a guaranteed 12%, which is a very decent return.
We have a question in the chat, or a couple of them, and you might be just getting into this.
Sure.
Do you have a pro forma you like people to use? That's one of the questions. And the other one is, have you ever lost money lending?
That's a good one. Okay, so I don't have a pro forma that I ask people to use. Everybody presents it pretty much in almost the same way. You know, and similar, like, you know, this Jim happens to be, you know, he's a business background, so he does Excel spreadsheets. Most people will give me like an Excel and kind of show me the numbers. I'm doing another deal in Nebraska right now, and I honestly, you know, I think she did a spreadsheet, and but we shared it very loosely. So no, I don't have a pro forma. And have I ever lost money on one of these? No, I haven't. And I think that that has to do a lot with trusting the partners that you work with. And also, you know, that's another thing when somebody had asked a really good question, because you got to start somewhere. I mean, obviously everyone was a flipper for the first time at some point. So, you know, there's a learning curve because you haven't done it. But when you've done 150 of them and you also have excess money, like if they owe me like $3,000 more, they're going to make good on it. It's not a big deal. They have that cash. So, you know, I like to lend to people that actually have excess funds, so that I feel like, you know, they'll protect me and you know, the project. And so I haven't lost any money. Okay, so evaluate the agreement. What's your time worth typo versus the money? Okay, and generally, again, the more experience equals less risk and sometimes less return. So there's deals where, like I said, you know, you could get a 50-50%. You could, you know, make a lot of terms. I'll talk a little bit more about different terms that come up that I haven't done, but that colleagues have shared with me. And again, commonly a 50% split plus money as the lender. So you might get like 12% and a 50% split and points. And what points are basically, if it's a $100,000 property, you can charge anywhere from 1 to 4 points. So if it's 1 point, you would give me an extra $1,000. So on the Kansas City deal, for example, it was structured a little different. He moves these really quickly, so he doesn't have a lot of, I think he might make like 15,000 on each one, but he does volume. And so with that deal, I did 12% and 2 points, right? So I loaned him around 200,000. I don't have the exact numbers in front of me. So up front, I took the points. So up front, I got 4,000, and then he'll also pay me the 12%. So, okay. So we've already talked about that. And basically, yeah, there's a lot of lenders that will give you, you know, also the more of a track record you have too, the other thing that happens is you can really negotiate your terms. So there are some people where they have lenders where they'll loan it for like 7% because they're not worried about the deal at all. Okay, so these loans that I do can be considered high risk, especially if you loan 100%, okay? Because basically all the money I have in the deal, okay? I do have the security of the first lien on the property, which someone asked, which was a great question. And if something goes wrong, I get the property. But don't forget, if these are flips and there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the property, I may get the property at a certain level of disrepair where I need to kind of manage it. And if the market corrects, you know, I might end up with a loss. So there is a risk for sure.
Okay, we have some questions.
Mm-hmm.
Is the property in your name or the name of the LLC? And also on the loan that with points, did you get a piece of the profit too? And then Andrea wants to know just a little bit about your journey. At what point in your career did you become a lender?
You know, okay, so Okay, ask the first question again. I'll ask them one at a time.
Did you form a new LLC for each deal? What was the property?
Yeah, I have, yes. Basically what happens is, I get, I get a deed, right? The note, and then the LLC's formed, with both parties. And then, when, it's just like a bank, it's just like it operates exactly like a bank. So all the documents are done.
And the other, so I'm just going to clarify for a minute on that because I'm not
Okay.
sure that people understand.
Okay.
So, the flipper, the investor, might be actually forming LLCs for that particular property. Tamar, are you lending out of your same LLC or different LLCs? I have an LLC that I lend out of, so it's, that's the LLC that's on the note,
Okay, yeah, you can do it that way. We usually, it goes various different ways. I tend to loan this kind of money out of my 401k. I have a self-directed 401k. Some of these things, if you're new, don't worry that you don't understand it. You're not going to know everything, but just know that, and I talk about it a little bit, that you can self-direct your 401k. So you can actually designate it into investments. For these short-term investments, it works really nicely because if you're not holding onto the property for a couple of years and you are you're turning it over really quickly, you'll be subject to very high taxes. So if you can put it in the 401k, it's deferred.
And the loan with points, did you get a piece of the profit too?
The loan with points. No, on that one I didn't. But then like the one in Nebraska is a 50-50 split. So like they're all different. Now, they're all different negotiations.
And at one point in your real estate career, did you become a lender?
At one point. I think, at the point when I realized that I had a substantial amount of money that really wasn't working as well for me. So I started looking, and since my focus was really in depth on real estate, I really am always looking for vehicles, which is why I'm in note funds and syndications and a lot of different passive opportunities. And this was just one way where if you can find partners and get these kind of deals, it can be a great way to make money on your money short term.
Cool. Okay, that's all the questions so far.
Okay, good. All right. So so on the securities, you have the first lien and then a signed document. So make sure you consult an attorney. Deborah loved this. She loves saying this kind of stuff. Talk to your CPA, talk to your attorney. Yes, do it. And use escrow services to control financial exchanges. So in other words, if I was going to loan you $100,000, I'm not going to write you a check for $100,000. I'm going either through an attorney, because everything in Tennessee goes through attorneys, or through an escrow company, which is the third party mediator who's kind of protecting and making sure everything, like, okay, this is the bank account, this is where we're wiring it, are you authorizing this? Everything step by step. So it just is.
Tamar, you've known me. Come on, just write me a check. Come
right,
on,
exactly.
Tamar.
I'm not going to just write you a check. So, we need that, and also the escrow company or the attorney will make sure, all the documents are signed and everything is in order, because these are your protections, and you never know, like you can know someone, but you could make a mistake. And if you've got a lot of skin in the game, like I have a lot of skin in the game on these deals, I really need to trust my partners. And I do implicitly. I'm not worried about any of these.
Didn't realize I was being sarcastic. Everyone, I've done business with a lot of women and that I've known. And you know what? Everybody feels secure when the legal documents are signed and everything is done on the up and up.
Don't ever just hand somebody a check. That's not a good way to go. And that's the whole other topic is like with contractors. Don't hand contractors a check necessarily, really. They're notorious for splitting town. Not all of them, but that are in Mexico right now having a margarita on some investors' $50,000. Okay, so create your terms. We talked about this. The minimum duration of the loan. This is interesting. In Texas, I met a lender who told me that you can actually borrow money and pay it back right away. There's no minimum duration. And so what he does to cover himself is he actually takes 4 points up front to ensure that he makes money on the transaction. Now, if you think about that, like if you borrow $100,000 from me and you only borrow it for a month, I'm only gonna make like a few $100. So like for me to like do all the documents and give you the money and incur the risk of the 100,000, I wanna make sure I'm making some money on the deal. So that's how he actually protects it. I'm gonna follow up with him because I thought it was pretty interesting, the 4 points. I don't know who he's lending to. And also 4 points, like most of the people that I work with, they wouldn't go for something like that because they have enough people and enough of a track record where they can find people who will loan them money for, you know, without having to put in that much. Usually, although, you know, sometimes if you need it really a quick duration, you might need to do that if the deal's good enough. Usually set for 1 year, but can pay back sooner. We talked about that. You can require the borrower to have money in the deal, skin in the game, so they are less likely to walk away. We talked about that like 70-30 split. Some people do 90-10. They're even comfortable like, hey, just put like, you know, just pay for the rehab costs or just do just put $10,000 in. They just want to know that that investor has money in the deal. And the loan can be anywhere from 8 to 12% plus points to be determined, also a split on the profit. Every deal can be different. So, and you know, when you're working with more seasoned flippers, they'll generally say, like for like Jim, for example, he said to me like, look, I will pay you up until the point where I can just go and get a hard money deal, like a loan. So at a certain point, he knows that he can qualify, because some people can't even qualify for hard money deals. So since he knew that he has good credit and he could get that, and it's going to be about 17%, he's like, I'll pay you up to this point, kind of thing, you know, to make it worth his while for the deal. Every deal can be different. And you can also request to roll out the money slowly, which I talked about, so that you can, you know, get monthly returns on the deals. You know, like a little bit of percentage, just so you feel like, okay, you know, they're here. And also you can ask to see visual progress reports on the job. And if it's out of state, you know, if it's out of state, or you can go buy the job if it's in state. You know, you can just go and check it out, see what they're doing. So qualified time versus cash, you want to make you can make a lot more money if you do the work yourself or find less experienced flipper who is more eager, so they're willing to, you know, to share more so that they can get the deal done, to get someone to fund the deal and give you a better split. Ideally, work for the best deal and make sure you feel comfortable lending. Like some people, like, you know, if it's a first-time flipper, for example, and you're my first cousin, and like I know you and I know what you're made of, and I know that you've got drive, and I know you've been studying this, and I know you've worked under a mentor, I'm gonna lend you the money, you know? So I mean, think about, or if I'm your parent, like I just want my kid to do well, you know? So I mean, there's people that will loan you. So you just have to, you know, think, you know, who knows me, who trusts me. The 12% loan gets paid back before any profits taken, and runs as long as the money is borrowed, which I mentioned. Okay, so how much is your time worth? I'm really big on that because, you know, this is a contention. Like, yes, you can make more if you're actually doing the work, but it is a lot more work. Okay. Do you have a question?
No questions.
Okay.
No
So,
questions.
you know, before I do this, what I'm going to do
We
is
only have like 10 more minutes, so we need to. I just want to make you aware of the time. We only have 10 more minutes.
10 more minutes. Okay. So let me just show this, and then I can also maybe go through the pictures while I answer questions. Okay.
That sounds great.
That works good. Okay. So just wanted you to quickly look at this. We're just about done here. So you can see the property was purchased for $120. There was closing costs on escrow. This is actually the first column is the you know, the estimate, and the second column was the actual. Okay. So for 123, you can see commission points. My line, I highlighted interest due. They projected to pay me $47.10. They ended up paying me $88.78 because the deal took longer. And this was all through COVID. I mean, this was a COVID deal. Like, they were in it. I had loaned them the money at the end of the year, and they actually sold this deal during COVID and finished the flip. So, and also, you know, they say that this was their absolute like worst deal they've ever done. Just my luck. But their profits were only $5,000 on this deal. And then they gave me 15% of it. So, you know, they didn't lose money, but certainly this wasn't a deal they would have done again. But that happens sometimes when you're flipping. Sometimes you cannot anticipate, especially with a global pandemic. So, I'll move on. You can see all the lists. You can see how they showed me everything that they were doing, everything that they paid for, so that I understand what goes into it. You can see as a flipper, if you're considering doing your first flip, how many expenses there actually are, right? You know, look at the commission points for a realtor on the back end, and on, you know, selling it. And these are all expenses you need to consider when you're doing a job. There's a lot more expenses than you normally can think about. Okay, and it's just my list of documents, the promissory note outlining the term, and it was notarized. That's another thing I want to say, is that it's notarized, which is important when you're going, you know, if you end up having to go to court, the notary holds some weight, you know, it makes it a more official document. Projected numbers, amendment to the joint venture for rehab, closing packet, deed of trust and HUD statement for closing, wiring instructions, private lender payoff statement. I had to remove the lien from the property for the new owners, right? Because there was a lien on it. And so I had to do, that was like one little document I had to sign. Notice to borrower about the attorney. The attorney had me sign a document saying, hey, I'm not involved in this deal. I'm just doing the paperwork. And images before, during, and after. Okay, don't get trapped. We talked about that. These are the 3 deals I'm doing. I told you that's what I have going on right now. Again, due diligence, and there's no guarantee. Is your money better making 0.02%? And what's your 401k doing? And this is me, Tamar Hermes, and my contact information.
Or maybe as soon as you're done talking, you can put it all in the chat so people can get it too.
Absolutely, be happy to. So what I can do now is I can answer questions, and while I'm answering, I can also pop on the screen of the before, during, and after photos.
Sounds great. We've got a couple questions. What's the lowest amount you've lent, and what's the highest amounts you've lent? And what is the biggest challenge for them doing a flip during COVID?
God, that's a big one. That's a big topic. Okay. So the lowest amount I've lent is generally like around the 150 range, around that range. And the reason is because when it's so low, it starts to get like, I have to manage, you know, it's a lot of paperwork and it's a lot to track. And like, if it's not enough money, it's just kind of like, it doesn't feel worth it to me, unless the return is incredible. Okay, this is a big topic, doing a flip during COVID. Okay, the market is hot as heck right now. There are flippers like flies, like flying around in the world right now. Everybody's, you know, a lot of people are doing deals. Right now, construction's gone up, and things are taking longer because, you know, government offices aren't there. So if you need permits, you might have to wait a couple weeks longer. And you're also in a seller's market still because we have people that are buying. That said, people are buying. So if you can get a deal that's that low and you feel like you can turn it around quickly, then do it. If you're a first-time flipper, I personally would recommend that you wait until we see some of these foreclosures come up, where you can get an opportunity where there's, you know, more of a spread, and that you have a little more time, so you're not as stressed. Because if we do see a correction in the market and you're caught in the middle of it, you could get caught on a deal where you're not feeling very comfortable. That's just my opinion, though. You know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I don't know everything on this.
So Tamara, thank you so much. Can you put all your contact information in the in the chat. And can we see some love for Tamar in the chat? Thank you, Tamar, for sharing with us. Thank you. Give her a high five on the video. I know that Tamar does first. I know that some other people, and including myself, has done seconds and have lent less than 100, to do a second. You've got to, once again, attorneys, financial consultants, the question came up, have you ever lost money? I've never lost money, but I have had to start foreclosure proceedings, so that's a whole nother learning. Anyway, thank you so much for sharing, Tamar. That was a wealth of information. And we've got all kinds of thank yous in the chat.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So we've got just a couple more announcements. Oh, you know what? Here you go. This is our beginners, our newbie free power hour. If this was valuable to you, this is what it's like. We have all kinds of wonderful people coming to you, coming to share their information. Tamar is a member and she's sharing her information with us. Become a member. Go to wreninspires.com and join us. It's $195 for a year and you get tons of valuable information along with networking. You get an online member profile, discounts to monthly events, local and national connections. We have all kinds of savings, discounts, and deals, and we have educational platform and WREN member only events, which are always really nice. I wanted to make a couple announcements of what else we've got going on. Next Thursday, we've got insanely inspirational success stories, and we're doing success stories from 3 different levels. We've got a newbie who has done her first deal and made $15,000. Woo woo! And we're gonna celebrate that. We've got somebody who is kind of more intermediate. She's a lender as well, and she made some money. And then we have somebody that's Jen Maldonado, which is our Los Angeles chapter leader. She has done a hotel deal during COVID. All these women have done deals during COVID, and how she structured the deal and how that happened. So we've got 3 different levels. So come out. I am going to put the information in the chat. There we go. It's next Thursday. Here's the Zoom information. Here's the link for anybody who wants to sign up. For non-members, it is $10. Hello, sign up, come out, hear all about it, about these amazing success stories. And then once again, I want to talk to you about Ignite the Unconference. We have it coming up in October. If learning more about real estate with women who are doing real estate full-time, as well as getting to know the community, this is the event you want to be at. And I'm just going to be really honest. If you have experienced a roller coaster of emotions, or you need some kind of grounding and you just want to, communicate with us other women who, have been going through similar things, and come to Ignite and just be with us for a little while and get to know us, and then let's talk about going forward in your business and reaching those freedoms that you guys all listed in the chat earlier today. And then last but not least, I'm putting the Las Vegas chapter in the chat so that if you know anybody who's going to be in Las Vegas, next week I'm going to be in Las Vegas opening up the Vegas chapter, and it's going to be interesting. I haven't been to Vegas. Vegas is pretty open, and I've been in Los Angeles, which is pretty closed. So this is going to be an interesting experience. The cost of the conference is $197 for members. There's a lot that goes with that, including some after conference meetings, as well as a swag bag. So for you members that are on the call, you guys are going to be getting some really fun gifts in the mail before the conference happens. Great. Thank you so much. Welcome. Thank you for the Las Vegas chapter. Welcome. Okay, we're 1 minute over. We try to end on time because we're all busy women, and we know that we scheduled an hour for this. So thank you guys for showing up. Thank you, Tamar, for sharing such wonderful information. Thank you so much. Yes. Oh, the chat. Jennifer's going to tell us about the chat.
Remind people to save the chat.
Save the chat. Jennifer.
No,
I
just
love-
everybody, if you save the chat.
So Jennifer always reminds me of this. If you want to save the chat, go down to the chat where the 3 dots are, touch that, and you can save the chat. Save chat, and it'll save onto your desktop so that you have everybody's contact information. All right? So I'm going to stay on for a few minutes so you can save the chat. Anybody that needs to go, go. And once again, thank you, Tamara, for everything. I really appreciate it. Yay! See y'all later.
Thank you, Deborah.
Thank you, Jennifer. Hi, Jolene.
Hi there. That was awesome.
That was, wasn't
I'm
it?
gonna listen to the recording because I didn't catch all the answers, but that was really.
Yeah, you'll get a recording in your inbox. Everybody on the call gets a recording in the next 2 days. It's usually out in 48 hours.
If we registered for the unconference when it wasn't an unconference, or we
Yes.
automatically registered for the unconference?
You are. In fact, you'll be getting an email in the next 2 days asking you for your address, because we didn't take addresses for the first set of registrations because we didn't
No.
we'd be meeting in person, which, you know, we will be at some point.
And it's Saturday, Sunday.
Okay, so
Right?
there aren't that many people on the call anymore. So we cross our fingers, we might have a comedian coming in at the end of our pajama networking party.
Okay.
But I think us women need a good laugh these days. It's just, you know, yeah, we'll just try to do some fun things. Anyway.
Good stuff. Thank you.
All right. I think everybody's leaving. All right. All take care. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for
Bye.
sharing.
Thanks
with us.
very much.
Thank you. That was really fun. I absolutely loved it.
Great. Nice to see
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Come back.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Bye.